Too tight. Good morning. I'm gonna take I'm gonna take the speaker off after the music, okay?
Okay.
Okay. I'll see you in a minute.
Okay.
Happy birthday.
Welcome to the Fee King Show. We back. We back, y'all. Good morning to Titonia Jones.
Good morning. What's up? What's up? What's up?
Same background from the cockpit. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank
Happy birthday.
you.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy
Thank
birthday to
Thank
Titonia Jones. Girl, you didn't want anyone to know. It's too bad.
Everybody knows, I think, maybe. So I am it says, I'm getting on the live. Are you seeing us on the live?
She said on the live. Am I seeing us on the live? Well, you know what, to Titonia Jones, let me just go over to the Instagram, to your Instagram, and let me see if I see you on Gram live. Let's see here. Tonya Jones. I see a beautiful photo of us. So to Titonia Jones, I am on the Tonya Jones Show page, and I don't see us live.
Oh no, I don't use that. I use the Radical Breath.
Radical Breath.
Mm-hmm.
The Radical Breath. Okay, let me look.
Yes.
So Sekou Wright said we are live on YouTube. To Titonia Jones, I do not see us live on the Radical Breath, and that's okay. We will post it later.
Yes, we will. Or you know what?
But that's
We
okay.
about to drop it like it's hot right now.
Welcome back to the Fee King Show. It's the Fee King Show, and it goes down every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Yay, God willing. Today, every Friday, me and my homegirl, Too Titonia Jones of the Radical Breath, we get together and we just do what girls do, right, Too Tight?
That's right. That's what we do.
From the West Coast to the East Coast, 3-hour difference, and she looks like she's been up. Girl, you look like you've been up for hours.
Girl, listen. I'm doing my best here. I'm doing my best, okay?
What is that, girl? Listen. So Too Tight, what's going on in your world?
Yeah, it is my birthday, and it is a different birthday from last year.
Yes, and how so?
Yeah, because last year I think I might have been in Spain in time. By this time, I was walking the Camino last year. So I think I was walking the Camino, and I think I might have been sort of halfway through or something like that. So the Camino, some people may be familiar, but the Camino is a old pilgrimage. It's been around for centuries, and there are many different routes, but it all ends in Santiago, which is part of Spain, and it's a cathedral, and it was known as a spiritual pilgrimage back then. So still is, thousands of people come fly from all over the world to do this trek. And so there are many different routes. The most popular one is the one through France, which is the one, yeah, which is the one I didn't want to do though, because it is a lot more people. It's more, social in some ways, and I didn't really want that because for me it was more of a silent walking retreat instead of doing a longer retreat at a center or a temple or something wherever I would go in the summer. I decided to do that instead. So I wanted solo. I wanted quiet. I want people trying to conversate with me and all that kind of stuff. It's like we are in silence. So
I'm just I am in awe, and I've known you for a long time. I'm still in awe that you go on these freaking silent retreats solo. Y'all, she goes solo. Sorry.
Well, no, girl. I'm mad. Why you mad though? Why you mad?
She goes solo. So I have a question for you, because I'm just nosy and I just want to be all up in your business. Do you have any tips for those women who are traveling solo, who you are inspiring to go solo? Like, what are the to-dos and the not to-dos of hooking up on your solo vacations?
Oh, well, the to-dos and not to-dos of solo vacations. No, and I know it sounds like, ooh, that's like I'm acting like, it's an SAT question, but I think it's just because I've been traveling that way for so long that, it's kind of like it's second nature. Where are you?
But Tonya, it's still not normal.
I love it. Not normal. Well, I'll tell you not normal, because I'll tell you walking through when I was, going through some of the Portuguese routes and, especially doing a trek by myself, and it's 180 miles. It's the prototype that I called El Padre, where you got, this kind of patriarchal still vibes, and especially in the more like small rural towns of Portugal, when you say it's not normal, because here comes El Padre, that's what I call him, unsolicited, coming over there, trying to give me advice that I don't need, trying to tell me stuff that I don't know. I was like, do you think I'm walking through 2 countries, backpacking, and didn't do just I need this basic information from you? Like
they do that in the gym. I used to love when men would come up to me in the gym and try to show me how to do a bicep curl. I'm like, I'm not new to this. And stop it. I did not come here for your attention and for your validation and for you to flirt. Like, some women do, that's fine, but I am not here for you. And I think that's the message. We're not here. We're not traveling for you. You're traveling for you, Too Tight Tonya Jones.
Exactly. So yeah, solo travel. So one of the things, but I think this kind of applies across the board, really. But I think particularly for solo travel, maybe a little more, because when you are traveling by yourself, there is an opportunity to have more spaciousness. So one of my things is like not to overpack your schedule, because what I found, like in solo travel, I tend to meet more people, engage with more people, and find myself in more situations I could say yes to just by being in a place and exploring. But
when you say
to opportunities, invitations, or things you just kind of come across, and not, another thing, not being afraid to say yes to those things. And I know some things I've said yes to. Yeah, but we'll get to that part. But yeah, I would say like the yes, because I know that a number of things that I've done, people would, if I was traveling with some people, they'd be like, no, if they were with me, you
They would
know,
judge you?
no, they wouldn't. They would be scared. They'd be
Oh,
like, you can't go. You can't do this. You don't know them. You know, speaking up to the neighbor, like, you know, like all those kind of things. So yes, the no part, yes, of like using your discretion, like don't have like all street smarts go out the window, but being
right.
more open to saying yes as well and not operating from a place of fear when there's not really a reason to, you know,
Mm,
how there are some situations you might be like, oh, or if you're feeling something that's different. But a lot of times, I think we live in such a based, fear driven kind of culture until like everything is scary. We know we can't do this, we can't do that. You don't go there, you don't say this, you don't do this, you know.
I
And I
think
think
you get that
women,
just from traveling solo. A lot of I
mhm,
I think the common response that I've gotten is be careful. And I'm like, can you tell me to have a good time? Because I also think, and correct me if I'm wrong, when I say hooking up, I don't mean necessarily physical intimacy, but
mhm,
going out having a drink with someone that you meet while you're traveling, or going to an event. Because when you're traveling solo, even local travel, if you go to an event, a bar, a restaurant, you're more
mhm,
likely to attract people because you are solo. And people,
mhm.
I think they look at you and they're like, huh, that's an interesting, beautiful woman. I'm curious as to why she's alone. You
Yeah,
understand what I mean? Right.
yeah, and particularly, yeah, internationally, depending, you know, where you are too, and you know, internationally, I've found definitely more, I would say, Central South America. Um, you know, you definitely get that more, but again, I feel like culturally, they're also a little more of like patriarchal kind of cultures traditionally, and you know, so women, oftentimes, not all, but more so, just generally speaking, are not, because I've even gotten that from women, you know, and
Interesting.
especially in those regions. They're like, oh, you're by yourself. Well, you're not married. You know, you just did like, you know, and there's a curiosity, you know, and for some of them, I could also tell they're like, whoa, like that, like it's foreign to them, just like culturally. Like they were like, oh,
Mhm.
I've never been on a trip without my family, or I never would do this, you know. And it's not like a judgment; it's just like not even a part of like how they roll. You know,
Yeah.
so that's like really interesting too. But yeah, I get that from women. They're just like, what? You know. Um, so yeah, I would say, you know, I was there was something I was actually going to say back then with the trek. Oh, so back, yeah. So the backtrack. So the for people with the Camino, I was going to share. So the things like the different routes and stuff I was talking about. So there are a bunch of different routes. Like you could start in France, the one that I avoided. But there are different parts in Spain you could start in. There's parts of like Portugal you can start in as well. And then within that, there's I don't know how many, but I would say probably at least a dozen or close to a dozen where you can have like all these you know, different routes and stuff. So the one that I took was I took the Portuguese route, but I started in Porto and I did the coastal route until around stage 6 or 7. So like my fifth or sixth day, then it cuts in more inland to mainland, and then
And
you kind of
how many miles is that?
it was 180 miles. Yeah, and
Walk
I
me.
did it over 10 days. I did over 10 days. And I had planned on having a couple more days, but I got down to the wire with starting because I wanted more days so I could just kind of, if I wanted to, you know, just linger a little bit or do shorter days. But before I started, the first couple of days before I started, I got really sick, like really, really sick until I thought I might not be able to do it. And then
Mhm.
it was that last day. It was like, this is that 10th day. If you don't start today, it's not going to happen. I still wasn't 100%. I was maybe like 40 to 50%. But I just said, I'm just going to start. So those first 3 or 4 days, I wasn't doing 18 miles a day. Those first days, it was like 10, 12, 13. So then, because I didn't have full energy, I mean, I'd never been this sick before, like ever that I can remember. And I don't know.
It is so scary to be sick in anywhere, to be
Mhm.
sick, but to be sick in a foreign country, right?
Yeah, I was holed up. I was just holed up in the hotel room, and anything that I thought I was gonna do, I was like, nope, you got to try to get well. I was sick. So then, after I got to maybe about 80%, it was like you're not gonna finish unless you rev it up. So then I started having to do 20 something miles every day to make up for those earlier days. Girl, then I got some injuries, both of my ankles. I had to stop and like ice every 2 hours. I had wraps going on, had the peas on that. Like then I had for the last 4 or 5 days, I got a service like my backpack. I had to because the ankle injury, I needed to get rid of as much weight as possible. So usually, I had my backpack, which was maybe about another 15 pounds that I was carrying, through there. I had, get a service the last few days to just take it to the next place where I was stopping for me just to only have the very bare minimums to be able to still get through it with the ankle. It was tough. It was tough.
So, Tonya, you
I love your faces.
I remember because you would send me pictures and you would tell me that you were sick, and I was just thinking, I can't believe she's doing this. But I think sometimes when you share the story, because you're accustomed to it, you've done it, but you got to break this thing down. You got to break this thing down, really, because you start at one place, you're in a hotel, and then I know that you haven't said this in this moment, that you are backpacking, you are sleeping outdoors or in a tent or in.
Oh no, I wasn't sleeping outdoors. I wasn't sleeping outdoors for this. I wherever I would stop for the day, I would just book some lodging. That so they have these things, and forgive me, I cannot remember the proper name of them, but basically along the Camino route, they're like municipal kind of almost like a hostels kind of things. And they're very inexpensive. A lot of people stay there. I didn't want that though. So in certain towns, like there are parts like you could walk for 5 miles and there's just like a little store this big and nothing else. So but then there are places that like these are places that have some kind of lodging or something, so they tend to be more of stop points for people. So yeah, so when I was backpacking, like I needed to have everything I needed for myself. Now I did have a like a lightweight kind of backpacking size, like sleeping bag and all this stuff, because I didn't know, just in case I ended up being butt out somewhere and I needed I got a crash here. But basically with the backpacking stuff, you just you have everything that you have, like you would need for those 10 days. So I have my hiking boots, and I have some hiking sandals, I have a bathing suit, I have
So basically,
I have enough water, snacks, clothes, like whatever you need is with you.
And so, about how many people were with you on any given stretch of land?
Mm-hmm. So here's the thing. There could be times like I could go for hours, especially in more rural areas, that I might not see anyone, or only the couple of people that live in those rural areas. Maybe they're out like with the garden or with their livestock or whatever, or I might pass like one or two people, and then there are some towns like when you get to like those kind of hubs. When I say hubs, I'm not talking big city. I'm just saying like it's the place where you're like, oh, there's a couple of restaurants, you can get something to eat, there's a place to stay, that kind of thing. Then you'll see more people. And then they'll getting closer to Santiago in the cathedral, like the stop point kind of thing. The closer you get to that, then the more people you see. But it wasn't, like I said, this route was not crowded in a way that like the French route could be. Like I said, that was, that was intentional.
Okay, you mentioned that you needed to catch up, which was 20 miles. So I'm thinking at some point, were you walking in the dark? Ever?
No, because, I mean, you get up in the morning, like even say if you walk like 3 miles out, say if you start at 7, you could still be finished by late afternoon. Even if you walked like 8 hours that day, you still would be finished by 6 p.m. So even if you say walked, like, and it varied because some stuff was, is like more mountainous and it's like, terrain, so to speak, like, and then some stuff would be flat. So, you might do 3 miles an hour, or one day, and then it might take you an hour and a half if you're like walking up a mountain or something, you know what I mean? So it kind of varied. So yeah, but no, you would want to start in the morning too, because it gets hot. It could get hot. So yeah. For the most part, I start in the morning. So I get wherever I need to get by evening. It's not dark yet.
Did you have a nap?
Yeah. So yeah. So the thing, there's a app that I use, and look at it right now. Because
I would think that you don't get reception, right?
No, some places, but not that much. But if you get into like where you're stopping for your night and stuff, most of those places you can find Wi-Fi, even if you don't have reception. Even if it takes a few miles or something, and it's like, oh, there's this cafe I finally came across, and like just ask them, do they have Wi-Fi? They're used to people doing this, on these places across the route. And there's actually this little passport book that they give you, and because you have to prove when you get to Santiago in the cathedral, like to get your certificate of your pilgrimage, so you have to do at least 60 kilometers. But the proof is, so along the way you get these passport stamps. So you have a passport that you get from, there's a list of different places you get it from when you start your pilgrimage, your walk. And along the way, there are a number of places they have it. So they know people just come in and be like, hey, can you stamp my thing? Can you stamp my thing? And you need to remember to get those, if you care about that sort of thing, along the way. So yeah, so with that said, yeah, there, those places will usually have Wi-Fi too. So if you ask them, like, if I stopped at the cafe and say, hey, can you stamp my book? And they have the stamp, like, can I use your Wi-Fi? They got that. But there's an app called Buen Camino, which I'll show you right here. Buen Camino, Buen Camino, Buen Camino. And so you can use this like to map your route, and you can map it however like you want. So I did that, and it would change day to day because of my situation I was telling you about. So my original plan of how I was going to space out my days totally changed. Like I said, there's some days here I'm looking now that it was like, oh, you walked 23 miles, 25 miles, because I did the makeup. But it's yeah, so that, this is
certificate.
So you can go in here, like plan your daily stages, and I know it's going to be hard to see because of the light. Yeah, it's hard.
If you angle it down a little bit like this, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, so you see, like these aren't. This is what I had originally planned, and I had to change it, and it's still pretty hard to see because my light's right there. But you can map your route, and then like if you click on, say, Padrón, for example, this was one of my stops. So then, these signals, and like I said, symbols, you can't really see that well, but those symbols stand for things that are available, like in the town. So you kind of know, you see it's a long list of things there. So like, okay, they have lodging, they have groceries. They have, X, Y, and Z. They have Wi-Fi. Like you see stuff like that. In the places that I stayed, though, I booked private lodging. But for people that maybe on a different budget, there are the hostel options as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
and
what'd you say?
I was gonna say, I can show y'all some pictures if you want.
We have about 2 minutes. If you
Oh.
show us some pictures.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I gotta move this.
Yeah. All right, hold on. That time goes by fast, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
Oh, really? Okay, I'm gonna do a little screen share situation. So yeah, I was just thinking about my birthday last year, and I was like, that's what I was doing. Okay, share screen.
I hope I got that right. 180 miles.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We have a little video.
Oh, a whole video.
So this is some of the trips. As you can see, it's such a mix of.
It's not. Let me add it, Tonya. Okay, here we go.
Okay, I'll start over again. Here we go. Mm-hmm.
But last year, though, oh my goodness. Oh.
But yeah, you can see it's such a mix. So all along the way too, you'll see shells and stuff like you saw in that arrow. And that's for people, because like you said, reception, phone. For me, I kept my phone away unless I absolutely needed it to book something. So that'll like tell you, so you can make sure you're staying on the right path. End up alone in the woods somewhere stranded.
I have that picture.
Yes. There's so many beautiful cemeteries, and that was my friend right there.
What's his name?
I didn't give him a name.
This is not what I expected. This is much more. That is so beautiful. Just so beautiful.
Yeah, it was so beautiful. I would say it was definitely one of the best things I've done, best experiences as far as like travel that I have.
And that was 10, you said 10 days?
I did it over 10 days.
Okay.
But ideally, I would give myself a little bit longer. Like I said, I explained all the challenges that made it. I originally planned on doing it over 12 days instead of 10. It was a stretch, and especially if you're not someone who's physically active a lot, I would say athletically, like that would not have been the move.
More reason to get and stay physically active so you can experience that.
Yeah.
So we have time for one last share or question. And I have one that I'm thinking people might be thinking of, which is, would you suggest if someone's interested in a trip like this, did you work with a travel agent or did you book and plan it out yourself?
I planned it out myself. This isn't something I would do with a travel agent. Well, I'm not big on travel agents anyway, and that's another show. Yes, let's earmark that, travel agents.
Let's earmark travel agent versus a travel designer.
Yep, that too. Thank you, Fee King. But no. So they do have some groups, like tour groups or things like that, where I came across one where it was like a group of 10 people, and they weren't doing the whole trek, but I think they were doing half of it. And it was like a guy that like walks them through it, whatever. Not necessary, really not. And this is the kind of thing like you could just, you could just map out your own route, really. I mean, if you want a group experience, I guess that's one thing of booking with a group, but it's totally not necessary. And it's actually better, I think, do.
Next, if you could earmark this next week, for those of you, if anyone is interested in, well, let me frame it this way. Is there an interest to have a trip like this or different, similar? Would it be a benefit to you to have someone design the trip for you? And then Too Tight Tonya Jones can further go into a deep dive with regards to the difference between designing a trip and
Mhm.
travel agenting a trip. We're going to start
Yeah.
there next Friday on the Fee King Show on the Road Again segment with Fee and T. Too Tight, thank you so much. Enjoy every yummy, delicious morsel of your day, not just for today, but for your whole life. But go big, 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 big today, and happy Born Day.
Thank you, King.
All right, y'all, we are out. We bid you love, light, peace, prosperity, possibility, positivity. And I'm going to let Too Tight Tonya Jones, I'm going to see if she remembers a little bit of my closing. So let me do it again. We bid you love, light, peace, prosperity, possibility, positivity.
And Soul Glow.
You better be an improver. You better be an actress and Soul Glow. We out. Peace.
Peace.